experiences. Cheers to a beautiful year end.
Have you on International Tidbits on Atlantic Television Network. Network. International Tidbits is a show where we bring you news, events, and stories from across the world. Here we ensure the real deal, the real on-time news are packaged for the viewing pleasure of the people. We have a number of topics for today. From South Africa, genocide case filed against Israel at World Court. Gaza, tank fire aerial bombing strikes Khan Yunis. From Malaysia, McDonald's sues movement prompting boycott against Israel. The storms battered Eastern Australia, rain, hail, winds. These and many more we will be discussing today, and we have a special guest today with us, a foreign affairs analyst, but we will introduce him when we come back from this break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back. This is International Tidbits on Atlantic Television Network, and today we have with us a foreign affairs analyst in person of Mr. Samuel Prosper. Mr. Prosper, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
Justice on Friday for an urgent order declaring that Israel was in breach of its obligations under the 1948 Genocide Convention in its crackdown against the Palestinian group Hamas in Gaza. The International Court of Justice, sometimes known as the World Court, is the United Nations venue for resolving disputes between states. Israel's foreign ministry said in a reaction that the suit was baseless. South Africa's filing alleged Israel was violating its obligations under the treaty drafted in the wake of the Holocaust, which makes it a crime to attempt to destroy a people in whole or in part. It asked the court to issue provisional or short-term measures ordering Israel to stop its military campaign in Gaza, which it said were necessary, in this case, to protect against further severe and irreparable harm to the rights of the Palestinian people. No date has been set for a hearing. While the ICJ in The Hague is considered the UN's highest court, its rulings are sometimes ignored. In March 2022, the court ordered Russia to immediately halt its military campaign in Ukraine. War began on October 7th when militants of the Islamist response to South Africa's suit. Israel's foreign ministry blamed Hamas for the suffering of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip by using them as human shields and stealing humanitarian aid from them, accusations Hamas denies. Israel has made it clear that residents of the Gaza Strip are not the enemy and is making every effort to limit harm to the none-involved, the ministry statement said. Now, Mr. Prosper, looking at this story, we can see that the Court of Justice, the International Court of Justice, sometimes have their rulings ignored, so we cannot entirely say that their powers will look at this in a different light, that the court is in favor of the Israelis.
A war against two nations. But now, he never said the Hamas militant, they are using non-militant
shields.
people as shield, and they are seizing, which the Hamas militant they've come to deny. Me, I see this thing not in favor of Israel, and the Israelis disobey. I don't think they will give them any major final sanction, because Israel is a sovereign nation. That's I don't think so.
So how do you intend to curb a war that is happening between a nation that is sovereign and another nation that believes they are sovereign as well? Because Hamas is a mind of its own, and so is Israel. It's a mind of its own, and obviously fire cannot quench itself. They will only burn more.
Nation.
Yes.
And Palestine fighting with Israel. Now, but why the thing is affecting the Palestinians is that there are Palestinian citizens that are living in the Gaza Strip there, that this Israeli attack is affecting, all right? So because of that, now, that's why I said that it's a war against terrorists, not against a nation. Israel, they are not against Palestinians. They are against Hamas militant terrorist group, full-blown war. That's why the whole fight is around that Gaza region, and they are after the terrorist group. But, collateral damages do happen, people's life. But if you think back, the Israelis, they gave warnings that people should leave that area. I think they gave about, 24 hours or 48, I can't remember exactly now, but they gave some days that people should leave. And there were some breaks within, within the war, so that civilians and other people too can leave. If it were a full-blown war against the two nations, there may not be that kind of treaty. You understand?
Fierce Israeli tank fire and aerial bombing struck Khan Yunis in the Gaza Strip on Friday night, residents said, after they carried out a series of airstrikes on the Nusayrat camp in central Gaza, according to medics and Palestinian journalists. Israeli forces have been pounding Khan Yunis in preparation for an anticipated further advance into the main southern city, swaths of which they captured in early December. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said troops were reaching Hamas command centers and arms depots. Israeli military said it had destroyed a tunnel complex in the basement of one of the houses of the Hamas leader for Gaza, Yahya Sinwar, in Gaza City. 12 weeks after Hamas militants stormed Israeli towns, killing 1,200 people and seizing 240 hostages, Israeli forces have as it pursues its war aimed at eradicating the Islamist group. Nearly all of Gaza's 2.3 the most densely populated areas in the world. Gaza health authorities said 187 Palestinians were confirmed killed in Israeli strikes in the 24-hour period, raising the overall toll to 21,507, about 1% of Gaza's population. Thousands more bodies are feared to be buried in the ruins of the neighborhood. Does this war look like there's an out?
And the right people stepping into the matter, because it's not because international communities like America, the United States of America, and United Kingdom and some other Islamic nations like the UAE and others. It's not that they can't stop, but people are being careful so that it won't result into an international war. Because Israel, let me put it, they are Jews, and by extension, it's a Christian community. Palestine is an Islamic community. So there is a way this war, people will come, it will look so biased, it will become a religious war. All right. Now, if I were to be in a position to advise the Palestinians, I would suggest to their leadership, these militants, they decided to go and attack the Israelis. There's a law, they say in physics, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So sometimes when you slap somebody once, for example, the person may give you more than one slap in reaction. Sometimes maybe that's what is happening. So they first of all launched. So if the Israeli, I think some weeks ago I heard the defense minister of Israel, he said if they stop, that it will give the Hamas militants a feeling of upper hand. That's why they won't stop until they are totally wiped out.
Now, this is the problem. Both divisions, Israel and Hamas, wants to have the upper hand.